What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 wrists. They was sleeping on me, homie, must've got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing!
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth, years and years. Promise my brother, soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food.
I feel great. I mean, we were here for the grand finals back all the way in the fall. It feels like a lifetime since then, but we are back. We are ready to go. And we've got a very interesting matchup to start things off here. We got a team that's never been in not only ECAC, but never in a competitive league like this before in James Madison University. Meanwhile, UNCG, University of North Carolina, Greensboro, they're coming back after being here last season, but didn't find the same success that they were looking for. Only 5-4 record on the season. Not the best place you want to be going into playoffs, but now they are back with a brand new roster, a lot of new players, and they are ready to roll. Yeah, you and me both. And one thing I want to point out about JMU is, they haven't played in a league before, but they have played competitively at least a little bit here and there in tournaments. And I think it's really interesting to distinguish, a tournament could be one weekend, could be multiple weeks, but it's not the same as a league where you're going to be playing no matter what during a regular season. It's kind of win and you're in, or lose and you're out. That's all it really is in a tournament, unless there is, double elimination. Then you get a second life. But, like you said, there's going to be a lot of weeks of competition. So here you fall short on the first day. No big deal. Brush yourself off, move on. Tournament. You don't have that same luck and luxury. Here they do, so we'll see if they can use that to their advantage. And both teams picked up new players. We talked about UNCG already, but JMU, they also have picked up 2 new players since their fall semester in what is the first official year of their program. So there's a lot of new things, a lot of positives to look forward to, but all that practice now that's been leading up to this, you got to show up here today. Week 1, it's not the end if you lose, but it's a great way to open up with a victory. It's a great statement at the beginning.
Jack, I just learned something absolutely devastating. I was muted that entire time.
Oh, no.
You are the only person that heard me that entire time. So you guys heard a lot from Jack. I'm not going to run it down again. I'm Septilins, and that's Jack. Basically, all I said is we are super excited to be here, and I'm crushed that my mic was muted because that was such a good intro. But whatever. I guess we'll do another one next week. Either way, I'm super eager to be jumping into this, whether I could be heard the beginning of that or not. But either way, this is going to be a great event. It's going to be a great night, and I think we have our map pool at the ready already.
Yeah, let's see if we can pull that up. And, if not, we at least know what it is off the top of our head. There it is. You love to see that transition. It is going to be Haven, Icebox, and then Ascent. We don't know the side yet because that will be determined after the first 2 maps if we go there. But I'm very interested by this first pick by Haven because, not surprised, honestly. These are the 3 maps I would say are the most meta, the most commonly played right now in any competitive setting. But the fact that UNCG picks defense on Haven, which I would say is the most offensive-sided map in the game besides Fracture, tells me they have some sort of composition, some sort of strategy that makes them think this is the right way to go early on.
Yeah, I have to agree. And there's one agent that comes to mind straight away for me on Haven that maybe some people might agree with, some people might not. I don't know. But I immediately think of Cypher when I think of Haven. I feel like this is probably the only map left in the game where he gets true value. I believe he's getting what I've been calling the Phoenix treatment, where slowly but surely he's becoming more and more obsolete, a little more isolated in the competitive play. But Haven in particular, especially that A site, I mean, Cypher really seems to shine, and I wonder, do they have a Cypher specialist on the team and they're ready to bring that to the table early, try to rack up those defensive points? But I have to agree, but choosing defense on Haven is certainly a unique choice, not one that we would expect.
And I completely agree with you. When you were saying, like, when you were kind of leading into that, who that agent might be, I was thinking Cypher immediately. Yeah. So I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. I think the only other map I could see him maybe working is Split right now, just because there's a lot of great sight lines for spy cam. But other than that, yeah, I mean, if you're going to play a Sentinel that's more defensive oriented, why not just play Killjoy? Because she's more versatile. She's not just defensive oriented. She can kind of control the map a bit better because her abilities don't have to just be left in one place. There is I guess a radius of how far she can be away from those abilities, but still, you leave a turret behind, gonna do a lot more than just a tripwire. Tripwire easily can be destroyed. But then the question is, what do you play on Haven if not a Cypher? And there's one thing we haven't talked about yet. Neon is available for play today. So I don't think defensive Neon is, what you're going to be going for if you're picking this side first, but that is available to either side. And with this more run and gun gameplay style, it could put a big dent into UNCG's plans if you're just able to run through and completely avoid, per se, like a Cypher or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Neon could be interesting. I have to wholeheartedly agree with that, but I want to think about how, like you said, Cypher's, I'm not going to call him a counter to Neon, but he's definitely a thorn in her side, right? Those tripwires in particular can really be kind of a real pain in the butt. And okay, so they're actually going to beat me to it 300 before I get the chance to talk about it. I was going to say the reason I think Cypher is becoming a little more obsolete, I mean, Bush is here to show us, right? It's going to be that chamber. A lot of things Cypher can do, chamber can do better. And I'm really curious to see, are 300 going to be pushing him in that place?
And you and I talk about this all the time. Chamber is not a Sentinel. I don't care what Riot says. I don't care what Valorant has him listed as. He is a duelist with Sentinel abilities. He just does so much damage. I mean, two of his abilities are just better guns, better than the style you have in the game.
Chamber. Yeah, I agree. I think somebody just messed up his title on accident halfway through development, and they were like, nobody will notice. He'll blend in. Yeah, but either way, we're only getting one Cypher on the board. Coming up from the side of JMU, Rai is bringing out his Cypher early here, and I want to keep a super close eye on this Cypher v Chamber gameplay and just look to see if it ever feels like they're butting heads, if it ever feels like Chamber is outplaying this Cypher. We're really just going to have to wait and see. Otherwise, I don't think I'm seeing anything particularly surprising from the comp. I think the breach is a little funky, but I don't think it's like a game-throwing choice or anything.
Yeah, and we've seen Breach quite a bit on Fracture, but other than that, not exactly the most popular choice, but I think that's what their answer is here. Instead of running a Cypher where you're kind of just hoping someone runs into your traps, you can be the aggressor on defense with the Breach. You have so many stuns, you have so many flashes, there's so many just crowd control abilities that you can use whichever way you want to. So you can immediately just throw a flash here on C long, just try to keep people away. It's not going to give you information like a Sky flash will, when it makes the sound when there's actually someone in the radius. But what it does is it really makes them want to run away. It makes them not want to push onto this. And especially if JMU, they're positioned where they're split, so maybe they'll commit to C later on. But if they do, it'll be a mistake because there's going to be a lot of damage waiting for them.
A lot of damage indeed, and Bush going to be busting out that Chamber pistol like we talked about, his the Chamber Sheriff. And I felt so smart when he came out because I thought to buy bullets instead of a gun before, like it was like the pro meta, and I talk about it every time because I was so proud of myself. I thought that was so smart, but okay, didn't work out super well for Bush. They're already down to what I believe was 7 HP, so 7 HP in a dream already, a 5v4 essentially disadvantage here for UNCG, and that really might put a hole in their plans. I think it was kind of Bush's job to lock down that A site, same as the Cypher would, and now he really cannot do that.
Not only that, but there's no healing on the side of the defense. The only healer in the game right now is a Sky, and they are on the side of JMU. I would say Sage is actually pretty good here. Her wall especially is really great at cutting off choke points, but instead, I think they only had about 1 HP there, but still, yep, they're going to fall immediately. There you go. Not a lot to work with there, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Some work could have possibly been done, but by golly, would it have been a miracle? Now we're going to be waiting to look at JMU's approach. They've got the numbers advantage, but they're going into a situation which is going to be tough to engage. As I say it, they are just not going to have to do much as 1-by-1 300 charges into them, and JMU puts every single one of them down in a flawless pistol round. The best way to start a game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to give you a lot of confidence. Also, it's going to give you a few bonus bucks, a few extra credits to work with there. As you see, it looks like it's going to be mostly a full Spectre buy. That's because they get the Spike down, which gives you extra credits. You get Elim, which gives you extra credits. So you lose no one along the way, which isn't the worst thing if you lost someone in the pistol round, because odds are you'd buy anyway. You're probably not going to be keeping your sidearm, which none of them will be, or at least it's just going to be a bonus weapon in this case. This is the round where things can get, you know, very interesting early on. If UNCG is able to take out 2 to 3 people, if not more, even if they lose the round, it's going to really shift the economy in their favor as they go into what should be a bonus round.
Yeah, so this round, more than I think any other in the game, is more about, you know, almost entirely about eliminations. You're not worried about planting Spike or defusing Spike right now. It is all about, like you said, how many elims can UNCG bring to the table? And right now it is -2. Bush and Dean going to go down super early. That is going to be a huge loss for this team. JMU, they're really hugging the A site. Once again, 2 rounds in a row, they're trying to bring it in hot.
Just a great positioning there by them. They have one person who's kind of out there, their Jet, as more of a decoy. The Sky is right there, GSB, waiting around the corner to peek once they know that there's someone there. That's a 2 for 0 special. Get it for free, and now they get a Spike plant as well.
Just waiting. I think they were waiting for a Sova dart there for just a moment. Ray is waiting for it, but I'm not sure if it's going to be making an appearance quite yet, at least not in this round.
UNCG, they're in a really tough spot. Maybe they go for a retake, but JMU right now, I mean, this team is large and in charge. They're making some great plays. Look at the shot from this team as well. Getting a double there. Jack, that is 2 flawless in a row for JMU right now. They have yet to lose a single player.
And that actually might allow them to upgrade here. Yeah, they have the money to try to fight fire with fire, but it's not the play that usually you want to make, just because if you do buy in and then you lose out, that's basically all of your economy for the time being. So it looks like, despite getting 2 flawless rounds in a row, JMU, they're going to stick to their laurels, wait for next round, which gives UNCG the advantage. This is the round they've been playing for since they lost the pistol. They should have better firepower. The Vandals, the Phantoms, that's just better fire, or not exactly better fire rate, but equal if not better, and definitely better long distance. But it's going to lead to a Jet jumping in. But there's their head going off.
Yeah, Duraco there dashes in, gets taken right back out. The first time in the entire series, somebody from JMU is finally going to go down. And it's so funny that happened the way it did, because I was going to comment on how I thought maybe UNCG was a little too impatient. That's why they kept going down. They wanted to find these firefights. And then, as I was going to say, JMU goes and does the exact same thing. So maybe these players are just eager to get tonight started. This is, of course, map 1 of what could be 3 maps in total. JMU, they've got a player disadvantage, they've got a weapons disadvantage, and they've got a time disadvantage. Only 60 seconds remain on the clock. There goes another one. Jupils is going to find that elimination. One Astra takes out another 5v3. UNCG currently looking for a flawless of their own, but as I say it, GSB picks up that elimination. A phenomenal start here. 4-2, make it 3v2. JMU, if they clutch this one out, Jack, I will be nothing short of amazed.
Yeah, it's 2v2 now. They have Hunter's Fury as well. They could just back up, but no, they lose it. They lose the last member, and it was a good effort, but it wasn't enough. And one thing I wanted to talk about with that initial engagement is I really think that Jet's dash is much better served as an escape tool than an entry tool.
Absolutely.
There's that like half second hesitation pause where you're just kind of standing there, your weapon is not up right away. Because of that, when you just kind of jump into something, usually you're going to be caught empty-handed. If maybe they're on the spike or they don't have their weapon up themselves, you'll be at an equal footing, but there you saw, completely caught off guard. And if they didn't lose that first member, that could have been a thrifty round instead. It will be UNCG getting their first of the match. This will allow JMU to buy, and because of those 3 eliminations, UNCG, it will be at a big disadvantage here. You see, they're going to have 3 people of sidearms.
Yeah, and also Jupils has no armor. Going for the Sheriff instead of armor there. Definitely could have bought light armor. I'm curious as to why perhaps they're going for an operator in the next round. Ooh, Dean getting flashed early by their own teammate nonetheless. You hate to see it. At least there was nobody there to capitalize off the back of it. It looks like Rai is just waiting. Has cages on the main doors, the mid doors, excuse me. He's ahead. He's a pixel. Amazing game sense there from Ray. Takes somebody down to critical HP, then Astra falling low. And this is where it hits me that UNCG does not have a healer on board. They lose one player. Damn near lose two. And here comes a little bit more action. GSB ready to slow peek the corner. I suspect to see a Hawk. We're getting a little too overzealous. Dean gonna put GSB down, and the Reaver Vandal is now up for grabs. 4v4 JMU. They've still got that weapons advantage.
Look at where this Jet for JMU has gotten all the way behind, but instead they haven't really taken a point. They waited, and it looks like there's going to be a 1v1. Oh, they win that, and Bush again 1 health. This time is able to win something.
Oh my goodness, Bush, yeah, sacrifices 6 more HP than last time, but lives to tell the tale and actually finds an elimination. A huge purchase there. 4v3 in favor of UNCG, but I'm hesitant to even say that after 38 right. Push 1 HP, not going to do 1-3. A triple coming through to Jet v Jet. Duraco trying to rotate in around to the back site. It's be a huge opportunity for UNCG to tie it up. Dean goes for the bait. Is Duraco going to fall for it? Oh, and Dean, watching the perfect angle, finds an elimination in UNCG after a very rough start, Jack. They're going to tie things up 2-2 entering round 5.
And you know, it's only 4 rounds in, but I gotta say that is a nice turnaround.
Absolutely.
Winning this round here, where everyone has an equal buy, or actually no, they were at a deficit. They only had 2 assault rifles going into that. Still are able to get out a nice win. Very well played, especially Dean at the end. A lot of patience, but I think we've seen now 2 rounds in a row that JMU has made a similar mistake where they've just gone a little bit too deep. Their GSP, you don't have to walk in with the guiding light like that. You can just throw it in and then, you know, press it again when you think it's far enough to try to actually catch someone out. Peeks blindly with their blind, ends up falling, and that Sky was definitely missed after they were able to get that plant down.
The plant seems to be the name of the game so far for JMU. That seems to be their initial objective. They like to rush the site pretty quickly, go like that, and play from there. What an amazing play there. That's going to be Chase falling very early. The breach taking offline. JMU advantage fairly for free. They didn't even have to put a player on the line to find that elimination. And they come back and give them a win at the end of this round. Only time will tell.
Nice setup, like nice engagement. JMU has been successful in getting on site every time. Their post plane has been what's been a little bit shaky thus far, half and half.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they were able to buy here. They do have 2 ultimates as well, and oh, this is a great angle here.
Oh, not one, but he was in star form. Oh, Rocco probably a little sad they missed. That would have been a cool clip, but they still got the kill nonetheless. JMU with a great rotation, leaving Garage wide open like that, I think was a big mistake from UNCG, but it strikes me as the type of mistake they're not going to make twice.
Yeah, and it wasn't that they necessarily left it open, it's that Nani got kind of just pressured out of it, took a lot of damage on that initial engagement, and because of that, just, you know, ended up kind of giving up that as well as C, so they tried to play for the retake. Couldn't do it though. I mean, it was just a great garage flank. You got to clear out garden, and you got to clear out mid. You can't leave that open because you never know when someone's going to walk in on you like that. Duraco, great play by them. You know, not the highlight clip again because missed on the Astra a little bit, but still double elimination nonetheless.
Dean with that hyper aggressive blade storm there, rushing it all the way down that C-long area. But for a rude awakening as they learn nobody is there. Pressure's on now. It's JMU may have to push in to what I'm going to call a bit of a 3v5, Jack. We've still got 2 rotating around. It looks like Dean is going to go up and through mid. Nani looking for any intel, even a lick of damage, but unfortunately just cannot line it up to find anybody. Storm Dean is. I'd love to see a double updraft here, honestly. I think they can find at least one if they played their cards right. Double updraft, slow fall, usually gets a kill. And Ace, wow, gets caught off guard with reaction time. Let's get the enough push finds another TSP. Gonna take 2 down on their way through the choke. Nani picks up Ray. Right, I don't know. I'm spicing it up, guys. I don't know which one, how to pronounce it. We're gonna do both. A lot of damage called out by UNCG. Is it gonna be enough damage to win the round? It simply is not. They're gonna put this one away and tie it up again, 3-3.
And the Seekers there, they were online for GSP, and I think that's what you really wanted to go with. But instead, they just save it for another day, end up losing the round, and the economies, that's what I'm really interested in. We'll have to see what they look like at the end of this. All right, not too bad overall, but UNCG continues to find ways to win despite having a much lower buy. I think that's the most impressive thing. I mean, we saw Bush had to go with their ability, had to go with their pistol, And even with that, the Headhunter was enough, it seemed like, to help get them onto the site. So UNCG, they're finding ways to win when they really shouldn't be, and that is a big part of why this game is still so close. But most importantly, they're also capitalizing on JMU's misplays.
Yeah, the capitalization off the misplays, I think, is a huge part of the reason that UNCG has been able to, I'm not even going to say clutch out rounds, has been able to win these rounds. Now we're going to see Dean with a pretty expected jet play, getting up close and personal, holding the high angles, because as we learn, if the map's not icebox, people very rarely are actually looking up. I usually stand right here with the sage wall as well. I usually hang out there with my judge and hope I have a good day. Now Dean getting a little hyper aggressive, able to get the intel and an elimination with the help of Chase there. GSP falls healing, taken offline for JMU Valorant. We know there's at least one more in there. The locations have been given away. This is going to force UNCG to rotate and should give JMU the opportunity to jump through sewers if they choose to take it.
Oh, they get another one right off of that. JMU, they keep trying to push on to A, and they've lost two because now you see the rotation coming out. There's no one there to meet them, so UNCG playing very patient, playing very disciplined, not trying to counter-rotate into A instead of just holding down sight. And, you know, some might say, like, why aren't you trying to just pressure them out? Well, you're playing for the objective. You're playing for time.
Left.
Right.
And there's only 30 seconds left, so you just hold down the angles that you were holding down originally. You should be able to win this one out. You also have to be careful that there isn't enough people in one place, because Nani right now is about to get run up by the whole squad.
Oh, see, I don't like the call on the owl drone there. They knew somebody was there. All they did was give themselves away with the drone. Wow! Oh, that one's gotta hurt. How do you want to break a lot of this over? And after all that patience, Bush doesn't even get to fire the Port of Force. Nani picking up a triple kill for UNCG. They're putting that fourth round away, and I believe for the first time giving UNCG that advantage.
It is their one-round lead. Not a lot, but should give them a two-round lead at least. You see, finally, JMU, they have found themselves in a position where they have to save. They cannot buy. They can't even force buy, really, what they have going on, which means that UNCG could potentially just continue to rack things up. It's pretty crazy because, again, like, it was only 2 rounds that they lost in a row, but it really seems like JMU had a good thing going. Then all of a sudden, that one misplay leads to 2 misplays, leads to a few more, and now here we are. They're looking down what needs to be a thrifty round to be able to even things up.
The thrifty round would have to be the thrifty of a lifetime. We've kind of already seen one, right? We saw one from UNCG earlier, so I'm excited to see if JMU brings out another one in Zaboomafoo. What a great way to start. Put down, and it's going to be huge. I mean, the C site is already wide open.
I've noticed that they also take a while to plan. Have you noticed that? Like, they'll take a site very quickly, but they'll just kind of sit on it, and it is a lot of patience to clear everything out, but you're also giving up valuable time that spike could be ticking. That, you know, maybe you lose the fight, but then it's been down for so long you win just because it goes off before anyone can get it. This is going to be a very interesting flank from the Sova.
With a sheriff nonetheless. This is going to be... Oh, and they missed 4 shots! Oh, that's disaster. I would have gone for the shot guard there. That's a little more guaranteed damage. That team going to be caught out in Quad. A great lineup from JMU. Dean somehow still alive. Somebody do something. Just like that, UNCG, they are rolling on the side. Magnus is a great example. We can hear the spike already into this later phases of turns it into a triple. Takes out GSP with the headshot kill, and that's going to be a 50-round win. But will anybody survive? The Sova goes down, and GSP not far behind. A win is a win, but your econ is going to be pretty mad at you for that one.
Both teams know how to win when they don't have the credits. That has been proven very early on here in this matchup. And what a way to do it. Sure, they lose everyone along the way, which really stinks for them, because maybe if they had 2 people alive, I think, at the end of that, they could have walked away with 2 Vandals, could have had everyone buy up, and then still had some credits to spare. They'll have to go for the full rebuy, but it also means they could force out some more from UNCG. So no one in this matchup yet has been able to be fully in control through 8 rounds. Is what you want to see. This is the kind of matchups you get here at ECAC. Just the best of the best in collegiate.
Absolutely. What a great way to start. I couldn't have said it better, Jack. The best of the best in collegiate. And these teams, they are showing that off. They are giving us a phenomenal game so far here on Haven. Duraco trying to make sure Chase plays a little bit less of Haven. Takes that breach offline early. I feel like we're seeing this breach go down very early. Quite a few rounds. I believe it's at least the 4th time out of our 8 rounds that have been played that Chase is the first player to fall. And I want to just keep an eye on that pattern as we move further into the series. A lot of ultimates at the ready. I want to keep an eye on... Wow, I just said that like a bunch, but I do want to focus on when these Astros in particular are going to use their ultimates.
Bush getting hard pushed in. I guess the Boomafu's not ulting anytime soon. Now a 4v4. The Shock Dart not going to find a lick of damage. And Bush going to go for a rotation through Garage, but if they play it the same way, there's going to be a Cypher tripwire waiting.
Blocking sight.
Yeah, no plant right away. Now they're going for it. They're trying to stop that plant. Can't on the side of UNCG. They have the Cosmic Divide, like you said. Do they even need it as they are able to cake out GSB?
Yeah, a great shot there. Oh,
I know
exactly Bush coming for the for an ace. Rocco looking for one of their own. There's going to be a 4K already coming through. Now a 2v1. The hard rotate through. And the ace! Rocco picking up the ace early and securing a true single-player dominance.
Wow. And a huge hands of, I guess, round of applause also to Ray there. A very well-timed Nero theft, able to find out exactly where that last player was coming from. And, obviously it only finds them out for a few seconds. They were able to walk a little bit more, but you knew exactly where Duraco would be looking for first. That's exactly where they were. And like you said, it seems like it was the Duraco show, but it was really stopping Bush. Bush was on a 3K at that point, so it was just the battle of who could get the ace, and there, Duraco was able to win out, and once again put their team in the lead.
My goodness, this is as close could be, and I am having a fantastic time. I mean, we are only on map 1. We are in round 10 at the start here, and it's going to be just so back. There has been truly no moment where I have thought, oh, one of these teams is definitely walking away winner at the end of this. I mean, the furthest we've gotten away in the scoreline is a single round. We're looking at it right now. I truly just hope that these players continue to fight tooth and nail, neck and neck like this as we move further.
Be faster.
I think it's just a good indication of, just the first 2 rounds aren't everything. I thought, sometimes you think, oh, they're going to run away with this because they get 2 flawlesses in a row. But here we are. They're only up by 1 round, like you said.
Oh, not another one. No way. Oh, Chase gonna put it down before we can live to tell the tale. A shame if I've ever seen one, but if Chase drops an ace, that'll be just as cool in my book.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Jamie, you're like, all right, they've already taken out 2. We do not need to run into this. We get to play defense now. We can just wait for them to arrive on the site, especially now that their location has been revealed. I mean, if you take this fight right here, you might just walk right into the Astra anyway.
Boomafu has been pretty aggressive. A great blast in the corner, but misses every bullet down the line. Looks for a flash out through mid, but the spray was already there. Chase is going to fall, and JMU have now given us our furthest point separation in the series so far of only 2 rounds.
The biggest lead. We've seen them have it twice. Can they extend it any more than this? And while it didn't happen, Septulence, can you imagine the stats line after 10 rounds? 2 aces, 2 flawlesses. Oh, that would have been amazing. Chase says, no thank you. He's able to shut it down, able to take out some more economy, as there will be a bit of a rebuy from JMU. But they've secured at least a tie score at halftime and also have diminished UNCG. But I would not count them out by any means. I mean, this economy not looking great. A lot of Marshals, a lot of Spectres, but we already seen they can do it Thrifty, so who says they can't do it again here?
I'm a little nervous about the 3 Marshals, to be honest. I think that's a very large commitment. Now Dean is going to find out very quickly that the Marshal is not going to hold up in a 1v5.
Rocco going through and clearing the site. This is such a great example of kind of what you were talking about. Is they just had that site for maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and they're still going through that right now. Those 4 or 5 seconds can make or break a defuse at the end of the day. I mean, how many rounds have we seen a team win with only 0 point whatever on the clock? So every fraction of a second really does count as we come on the line here. But JMU, like you said, they're not terrified, they're not scared, as they have a guaranteed tie-up at the half. It's really on UNCG's shoulders to determine how far of a lead JMU has in that half.
Pushes up to something, but is able to finally trade it back, but loses 2 in the meantime. And they have to sign up for so long. Oh, okay, it's a 3v1.
3v1. Bush has the tour de force, but instead chooses to rock the pistol for the time being. Finds another elimination, but this is a great example of the spike going off, Jag. Time is out, my friends. Unfortunately, that is going to be another round win for JMU. Well, unfortunately for UNCG, and apparently unfortunate for Zabumafu and Bush as well. All of a sudden, this Sova, the sole survivor, is the last round, Jag, with 6 ultimates ready.
This would have been huge for Bush if they'd been able to pick up. I mean, I saw them pass 2, maybe 3 Vandals on the way out. Doesn't even get out with their life, and I'm thinking maybe they had a slight hesitation, thinking, oh, I could go back, but then the spike goes off. That's big, because now Dean, well, they do have a Blade Storm, which is plenty to work with if you're a Jet. They could have at least had some sort of weapon that wasn't just a sidearm going into this. It actually looks like I was thinking maybe their Astro is going to buy for them because they're
Get out of
currently
my way.
the bottom of the leaderboard, but not going to happen. And this is going to be the last round before the half. I can't believe we're already here, but yep, here it is.
And it's insane for a few reasons we're already here, right? Not only because the scoreline is so close, and it truly has been, but also the fact we've played so many rounds already is just breathtaking. These rounds have been so fast in nature. Only one, maybe two of them have ended with the spike actually going off. The rest have been ending pretty abruptly. And something tells me this one may be the same way. We always get, like, what is it, 10, 15 seconds of silence, and then it is just a bloodbath across the board.
Yeah, it's just like 10, 15 seconds of JMU, like being like, all right, do we plan it now? All right, we're going to fake it, and then we're going to plan it. No, actually, we're going to fake it twice, and then we're going to plant it. And it's working for them so far.
Right.
You know, they're, I wouldn't call it hesitation. I would say it's being patient
Yeah.
and just waiting out to see if anyone on the defender side makes a move they shouldn't make. But this is going to be JMU realizing, like, hey, like, you know, the last few rounds have been a little bit easier because their economy hasn't been there for UNCG. They have it now, and because of that, they're going to throw out the Seekers and a Cosmic Divide.
Oh, but they are walking right into a death trap, my friend. This is going to be a tough one to turn around. Bush able to find that elimination on Rocco. So that's a Blade Storm clean off the board. 30 seconds remain, and JMU, they popped all the ults they had. They had 3, they used 3, and now UNCG still has 2 more.
But A is wide open, B is wide open, but it's specifically A that it looks like JMU is rotating to. But they only have about 10 seconds left. They did leave their Astra all the way behind, so that Astra might be just being sacrificed for the cause here.
She's making noise.
She's just the distraction at this rate. Yep, there she goes, but there goes the spike.
The distraction definitely going to be working out. However, JMU, an incredible player deficit, 5v3. They're playing for a retake. About that. All right, so bad in turn 4 straight away. We've got 2 rotating up and through heaven, and it's going to be up to the Nova Chamber combo. Chase knows somebody is down there. They can feel it in their phone. And all right, Rise, up to you, my friend. You find 1, you find 2, but you're unfortunately not going to find 5. UNCG going into halftime. They 2-round deficit. All they have to do, Jack, is win the pistol round. They should be able to really high.
Yeah, that's all it takes, right? And we always talk about, like, best worst case scenario. This is your worst case scenario if you get that lead. And, you know, mathematically, that makes sense. But the reason why is just because of what you just said. The fact that you lose the pistol round and then you lose the follow-up round and all of a sudden things are tied up. And you've got really no control over that. The pistol round is so coin flip based. It really comes down to, oh, you hit like one better shot that lets you just open up onto a point, get the spike plant, etc., etc. So those one little moments, I would say, are such a big difference here compared to any other round, which is why, you know, JMU, they might have that lead, but that lead might not be safe for long.
I'm super excited, honestly, for the pistol round because of the thrifties we've seen up to this point. Some of these players go absolutely crazy with the sidearms when they are provided appropriately. Rocco is usually one of them, and I don't think we're getting the best example of that because I missed a full clip, but that is A-okay. Actually, a lot of damage has been done, to be fair, in the first elimination. Bill comes through immediately, traded out by Bush. The Rocco classic jet move right into the wall, 4v4. I've got to say, Zubumafu might have a great opportunity to be the hero. Here they come. There's 1, there's 2, but it's not going to be 3. Ironically enough, Bush does find another elimination. Rai takes him out. 3v1. Dean is good. Are they good enough? This is going to be a hard one to win.
Yeah, and destroying that tripwire will actually indicate exactly where they are. So, you know, if you're safe, you're like, oh, well, that was in Garage. They must be somewhere around Garage. Dean, however, in the meantime, has rotated very far away. There's another tripwire right there. So do they set that off? They see it. What do they do here? They break that. So again, information has been given once more. And Dean, you're about to run into about 3 people.
Oh, no! Oh! Rocco read Dean like a children's book right there. Oh my goodness, not a thought behind those eyes. Rocco was looking for blood. 8-5 around, unbelievably pivotal for UNCG is going to go in favor of JMU, however. So now this is going to be a tale of 2 teams. Will JMU hit double digits before UNCG can put another round under their belt, or is this 300's time to shine?
You know, this would be an amazing round for 300 to win, and you could force buy here. We do see teams do that in a little act of desperation, but, you know, the lead isn't that big. They're not too far out of this where I think that needs to happen. Again, it's just the same thing we talked about before in the second round. Can you get 2 to 3 eliminations to really make sure that that bonus round goes your way and you keep everything that you buy?
You know, last time we were in this scenario, they weren't able to pick up even a single elimination. It was a flawless round. So this is at least time to try and rewrite history a little bit. To win the round would truly be a rewrite. It would not only be a great opportunity as well. Nani indeed, my friend. I don't know what was going on there, but it was not good. Rai finding a double kill. It is up to Bush to save the day, but GSB will put Bush down once again. 9-5 in favor of JMU.
Not quite flawless this time, but still only losing one across that. Be very nice for your economy. They're going to probably just not buy much of anything. This next round is the one you're expected to lose anyway, so kind of flips onto you. Can you get 2 to 3 eliminations to really make sure that the next round after this one is in your favor? They did do that last time, remember. After the bonus round, before the side swap, it was 2 assault rifles and 3 sidearms that UNCG had. And you thought that would be enough. They still won that round anyway. So despite the fact that this is, I believe, the biggest lead we've seen from either team thus far, I'm not counting UNCG out of this just yet.
Oh, our first operator of the day. You love to see it. I love to hear it. It's my favorite gun in the game. Actually, the judge is the opposite.
I was going to say, isn't it the judge? Yeah.
I'm a very chaotic player. I only like the guns that go boom real loud. Do you know what I mean? And okay, so a little bit of intel for the Silva here, whose name I still am trying to pronounce, but I just cannot get anywhere close. It's going to be interesting to see how aggressively they rush onto Ace site here. I think if they all 5 full send, they'd actually really sneak up on JMU. And along the lines of that, Bush already able to find 2 turns to 3, and an ace could be a Bruin Jag, but whether an ace happens or not, I think UNCG's got this round in the bag.
Yeah, and Bush has been on the precipice of an ace, I think, twice now, maybe 3 times.
Around there.
Yeah, gotten very close. I think right now, if you're this Jet, you're just like, all right, how can I save this operator? You could also just throw it over the side of the map, just to make sure no one can get it, which is a very real possibility, as Rai might give themselves for the cause here, just try to make sure that their brethren can live with that operator. And that's
Rai being
honestly
a
a
hero.
Smart play.
Yeah, honestly, I wholeheartedly agree. They're all looking at Rai. Every second counts. Rai actually takes one out the door. Incredible. Bush is going to have that 4K, but I don't think 4 turns to 5. Dorako might get an exit frag if this Jet walks all the way out. Here she comes. Oh, and he missed. Oh, that patience. Oh, that waiting, and unfortunately just cannot find the kill. However, better safe than sorry. You know what I mean? So it's great to have that operator still here moving into the next round.
And that was dangerous because not only did
Very
they
much
miss
so.
the first shot, they went back in, and as you saw, they only took about 41 damage, I believe, overall. But that had continued on. If that wasn't the end of the round, that actually could have been the op falling out of their hands at the very end when it seemed like it was determined they would keep it. So, oh, that was a little dicey there. But for UNCG, you'll be very happy with that. Much more successful bonus round than last time. But again, it comes down to this. They're able to win this one. Only down 2 rounds. You lose this one, double digits will be on the table for JMU.
We got the funny score on the board, but probably not for much longer. Somebody's got to put a round one away. Valorant does not end in a draw, no matter how you put it. I am very excited to see the aggression. It looks like UNCG wants to give us the same strategy, but instead, they're like really taking their time. It worked so well last time because they hard rushed. Now they're focusing in and pushing a little bit slower, but it looks like it may be working out well. Chase able to find their second kill of the round. Zabubuku with a high ground advantage, but I'm afraid the damage is already done. Buko putting some stars down. Bush sneaking up behind Zabubuku. Call that an ambush. It's going to be a 4v1 now. Dorako again with this op just can find no purchase.
It just seems like they're avoiding Dorako completely, just going to the site they don't expect them to be on. And C is usually the best place to be. I mean, A and B work out as well. There is heaven on A. B, you can just sit on top of boxes, especially because you have updraft as a Jet. But you know Z is where they're going to be probably camping out. So instead of even trying to force that, just avoid the issue, get the plant, take the fight when you're up in numbers, and just avoid shots.
See ya. No! Oh, okay, losing the op or not, that was cool. That was neat. I liked going down in the blaze of glory there. Chase was also 1 HP. I mean, that actually could have ended super well for JMU in a perfect world.
But did anybody grab the op, Jack? I didn't see it.
I don't think they will. I don't think there's really any reason to. I feel like Breeze would be the best map to try to, get an op
Icebox,
on
maybe.
attack. Yeah, Icebox as well. I feel like Haven, not so much, because you're always peeking around a corner. Every single place, C long.
Right there.
B, you'd be
Right
looking
there.
straight at, just B as a whole, and then A Heaven is lined up perfectly there. So just take it out of their hands, and I think Jace is really lucky to be alive, because I thought that would be a collateral right there. I think it just barely, I think it probably went, through the other person and then into their legs, and that's the only reason why they're still alive, or at least live through that round.
Definitely so. Duraco goes for a Blade Storm, and by golly, I don't know if you can get more aggressive than this. I mean, this is gonna be maybe a little too aggressive. Bush, just patience on that corner.
Here.
You love to see it. And I feel Duraco is in such a weird spot where they're either way too aggressive for my liking or not nearly aggressive enough.
Target down.
Oh! How you know? How did you know? Wow, that's cool.
You know, when you make Septilin skip words, then you know you just popped off, because that is basically... That's... Don't worry, I notice all. But no, seriously, I mean, like, you have a way with words, and when like something like that, you know it's a pop-off play. As Dean just continues to shred.
Yeah, Dean, I mean, this is a good example of what I tried to mention earlier. Sometimes people just don't look up, and there's so much value to be found out of that. That is the third flawless of the game, but the first in favor of 300 here. So that really goes to show that maybe this is kind of a second half team. Maybe it's because they swapped sides, they're doing better. Maybe they just needed a couple of minutes to get warmed up, but whatever it was, it's clearly working. It's clearly happening, and now, I mean, even the scoreboard is insanely close all the way down.
It really is.
Spikes here.
And, you know, you and I were questioning them picking defense first. Maybe they thought, you know, defense is going to be our weak side anyway. Let's just get it out of the way, and then we can play for the second half. Which is a bold strategy, to say the least, but having a 5-7 scoreline is very, very close with, you know, I would say the disadvantageous comp. I talked about how Breach could work on defense, but you see the work that Chase is putting in on attack. Those flashes have been immaculate. They have been incredible, and it's a huge part of why they've been able to keep things so close.
Yeah. Now, speaking of huge parts of the way they're able to keep things so close, Bush goes down, and Bush has been a real power player. I mean, all the way down the line. Every single round, I think Bush has gotten at least one elim, and for them to be the first one to die, I think the whole game, this is the first time Bush has gone down first, that is going to be crucial. 300 is now going to have to adapt. Their pseudo-duelist has been taken down, and it's going to be up to the remaining 4 to turn things around. I want to see if that has a massive impact. Can JMU finally put another round down? Can they hit those double digits? Or is Bush not as impactful as I thought they were?
I think they definitely have been impactful. I mean, they have been the leading fragger in more than one way. They've been the ones stacking up multi-kills. I think it's really on Dean's shoulders now. They have a Blade Storm, but there's no real reason to use it. I think you go into the Rolling Thunder, maybe pop the Blade Storm in tandem. That's probably your key to victory right now. Or you just try to run it down 4 on to beat. That's, you know, just try to outpower them, but you can see the rotation is starting to come in here.
Oh, it's going to be a quick one, Jag. About 4 around the corner. GSP finds one Zabumafu. Puts Chase down. Nani is going to be able to find GSP.
One enemy
Honestly,
remaining.
quite a good trade there. You got quite a few eliminations. Duraco with the first reasonable operator elimination there on the Nani, but you're going to have to get out of dodge, my friend. What are you doing? No, what? Oh, my goodness. I can't say I blame Jupils there. I probably would have fell for that too. But the audacity to just stand still and assume they're going to forget about you and assume they... Oh my goodness, that's... What a play.
So, okay, I was just so amazed by this play. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they fake Tailwind there? Did they do that to try to... Okay, yeah. So that's just genius. I mean, Tailwind, you can just do it into a wall. It'll still have the sound effect. They probably thought they were out of that smoke, but instead it was the perfect play. And you got to remember, the classic, its alternate fire, is basically a shotgun. So at that range, doesn't matter if you got full armor, it can still demolish you.
That was honestly just very cool. That was a very smart play from Duraco. It's funny because there's like a decent chance that Tailwind was supposed to get them out, and they just did that thing Jets always do where they dash into walls. But it looks like, oh my, wow! That round was 2 sentences long, Jag. That round was 2 sentences long.
You gotta make them the most beautiful sentence you've ever said in your life. We talked about Bush. I mean, look at Duraco. 4 more kills, 3 less deaths, 6 assists.
4 more kills that have been found in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's... and we talk about, like, you know... It's felt like this has been a battle of these 2 players. And, you know, definitely the teams have been amazing supporting cast. Not to say they haven't popped off in their own right. But right now, the battle is starting to be won by Duraco. And before... It was kind of like, oh, we'll just avoid Duraco on C, but they've been playing all across the map now. And you see Duraco's going to be playing now, and okay, just going to walk out way too aggressively there.
That's what I was trying to talk about earlier, is Duraco really has like a switch that only has 2 settings, and it's way too aggressive or not nearly aggressive enough. And that's another round. We've seen that a couple of times. Duraco, especially the garage door, second time it's happened right there. Rocco goes to the aggressive and just can't find it. Chase with some great patience takes out the Sova. Another on the corner. It's two! Zaboomafoo! Looking clean. That's going to be a huge opportunity to flip this fight right back in favor of JMU. They're still down in the numbers and the ultimates. There's a tour de force and a blitz for online.
And I'm wondering if they're trying to use the Neuro Theft. It is online, but you do need a body to use it on. Could have used it there, but instead it looks like they're just going to save it for another round. 3-round lead, looking good, and looks like UNCG is going to take a playbook out of JMU's. As play out of their playbook is, you know, you saw there, they hesitated. They went for the fake to see if anyone would try to run in, and now that it has been fully planted, and that's going to be the Cosmic Divide.
That's certainly an ultimate. I don't know if I'm particularly fond of its usage here, but, you know, if it works out, I like it. And when it doesn't, I wasn't particularly fond of it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a rough round for sure. JMU, I don't know. No, I think I just didn't like it. I'm trying to justify it in my head. I don't think I liked it.
I don't like the Cosmic Divide as an ultimate in general, and I'll tell you why. I feel like it actually does more damage to you than it does to your opponents. And, like, yeah, you can't shoot through it. There's no noise that comes out through it. That just gives your opponent kind of the
same advantage.
Audacity. I would say they are less afraid to blind peek through it because they'll be the ones moving. And although, like, Peeker's advantage is something that Riot has said they're trying to fix, you know, it still is there. It's just that's just how a game works, unfortunately.
Right.
So if you run through and you're able to catch someone off guard, the person who's been holding that angle, odds are, is not going to be able to react quick enough.
A fine day.
Oh! Nani gonna go down to... guys, I don't know how to say that name. I've got to give up. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call him Sova. Duraco goes for a kill of their own, but just cannot find that footing appropriately. So you've got C site locked down pretty aggressively, right? That Jet just got an operator. That site's built for operator usage. But B site is the one I want to keep an eye on. And I actually just it just hit me. I don't think anybody has planted on B site this entire game.
I think
they've
tried.
I think.
Yeah, I think they've either tried to or gone successfully, but I mean, B-site's usually avoided unless, you know, you try to move in as an attacker and it's denied.
Right.
The other solution is when you can just put it right here in this corner and then set up in window. And from what I've been told from production, that is Noah is a wrap. So go by Noah, you know, something for this Sova player here. But at least they'll have a name.
Yeah, Noah is... how about we just go with Noah? Does that work for everybody? We're just going to go with Noah. But enough about Noah. We need to be talking about the Rocco. A huge op double kill there. Going to make it a 5v2 in favor of JMU. And they're only 2 rounds shy of winning this entire map. In a very close fashion, to be fair, but a win is a win nonetheless. Here comes the Boom taking out Dean. Looking to take out Bush. Bush will not go down without a fight. Going to go for a fake plant here. Running out of time, but... time is unfortunately not of the essence here. That's going to be a 3K for Duraco and a 12th round win for JMU.
Yeah, we've been talking so much about the players. I have barely paid attention to the economy. It looks like UNCG will just be able to have enough here to go for the full buy for the most part, which is good considering this. It could be their final hour here on Haven. Duraco, 2 away from the 30 bomb. That is the biggest story. You need to shut down this Jet. When they do, their percentage of winning goes way up. So you gotta wait for them. Yeah, it skyrockets all the way through the ceiling, way higher than a Jet can updraft. So you catch them up being too aggressive, that's your win con. You're also walking to 2 other ultimates, even if you take off Duraco, and especially those Seekers. I mean, again, they stun, but more importantly, they give a lot of recon about where your enemy's coming from.
I wholeheartedly agree. You know, if the Jet goes down, that's a huge, unbelievably, unfathomably large positive for UNCG, a huge advantage. But even when that Jet goes down, there's still 2 ultimates and 2 very strong ones. Like you said, the Seeker's insane game changer of an ultimate. So we have to see if that ult will be used or if JMU wants to hold on to it. Maybe JMU's not as confident in this round for whatever reason. Maybe they know there's a couple ults from UNCG. They want to try to bait those out first. Who knows? Only time will tell, but this might be the longest we've gone without an elimination this entire series so far.
I think both teams realize, you know, how important this round is. You know, for one, it's a win. They go up 1 in the series. They go to, you know, match point if they're able to win the next map. UNCG, they're just trying to hang in here. So they're not trying to play too aggro. They're not trying to make any mistakes. And I think, you know, that's a smart point you said about JMU. Maybe they're just waiting for someone to make a move, and that's the move that's been made.
Everybody else is just standing back there. The patients are like, uh-oh, we cannot leave this corner here.
Oh, Duraco takes out
down A.
Pupils, and that is going to be mildly to severely disastrous. A 3K! Looking for that second ace of the evening, but Zabumafu gonna steal it away. The flash comes through, but Chase, I'm afraid the damage has been done, my friend. Unfortunately, you are getting folded in like a lawn chair. Chase goes down, and it is a flawless round that puts Haven in the win column for JMU Valorant.
And what a way to make their ECAC debut, a team that wasn't here last season. It was flawless to open up this game. It's flawless in the final round here on Haven, up 1-0. But overall, despite, some very impressive rounds here and there, that was a very close map one. It was 13-9, only 4-round differential. And there are some rounds that came down to a 1v1 at the very end.
Now, Jag, do you happen to remember whose map pick that was?
I can in a second.
I was going to say, I'm very curious as to which, because we talked about at the beginning, somebody choosing defense on purpose, but I don't remember who.
Yeah, so it was JMU that picked that. However, one thing I will note is that when talking to both teams, this is one of the maps they both felt confident on. So this is, I think this is one of those win-wins where, you see, they're like, oh, my opponent picked that? Great. Yeah. And then I get to pick the side. And it was UNCG who picked to go on defense first, which is something that we had talked about, surprisingly, considering that it is an attacker-sided map.
Yeah, so when we get right back from this break, Jag, I'm going to ask you now, but we'll talk about it when we circle back from the break. Do you think it's more important to pick the map or to pick the side on the map? Hold your answer. We'll get right back to it in just a couple of minutes. Folks, use this time. We're going to use the restroom, get some water, do whatever you got to do, but come right back here, because if that was any indication of what tonight's going to be like, it's going to be one hell of a night. We'll see you folks right back here in just a couple of minutes.
Try and tell me what I can't do. I want to see the world, my vision on Shamu. I mean, I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. You're offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother, soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids, and for their kids, just kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, job that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got 2 bit. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it
Why, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to ECAC Week 1 Valorant Spring Edition. That's a lot of words, I know, but we're going to have a lot of fun as well. I'm Septilent, that's Jag, and I still crushed the second intro, and I was unmuted this time. What is going on, everybody? We're jumping right back into Map 2 here in just a couple of minutes, which I believe, correct me, Jag, is Icebox?
It is going to be Icebox, and I believe that I have to answer a question that you asked before the break ended. And I'm going to give you the most laissez-faire answer I could possibly think of, and it just depends. It really depends. I think actually having the second map pick is very highly advantageous because you can see the first map and kind of assess how the team that you're going up against plays. If they're picking Ascent, maybe it's a little bit slower, a little bit more team-based. If it's a map like Breeze, maybe you're just looking for long sightlines. Maybe you just have like an operator specialist you're looking to enable. All these things are up in the air. I think for the first map, though, side does matter the most. It's kind of the same thing as you see what map it is, but then you can kind of choose you can control the style of play at the beginning depending on what side you decide to be on. So to give you my answer, yes, it is both. It just depends on where you are in the map selection stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point, honestly, and I agree. I think it's interesting because it depends what point of the series you're in, what the map is, of course, and of course your general comfortability, right? Your team's own comfortability on either side. You don't want to overextend. Oh, this is a defense-sided map. We must pick defense. If your team's a little more attack-sided, I think that's A-okay. And speaking of A-okay, I think we're jumping into this in just a couple of minutes here. That made no sense at all. But either way, I'm stoked to be jumping in just a couple of minutes. I believe there were a couple substitutions. I believe that Armando is being subbed in for Jupils and Murr is being subbed in for Rye. I may have those swapped. I know Armando and Murr are being subbed in.
No, that's right.
But
that
okay, perfect. I didn't look at the message. Wow, good job, me. Everybody say good job, Seth. Just kidding. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm super excited to jump in. Icebox is one of my favorite maps. And Jag, to ask you the question that I always ask, we're gonna see a team comp here, most likely. What do you think it is?
Oh, it's been the same for Icebox for a while now, and it's one that I always like to see. So the Reyna, the Jet, usually then a Sova, as well as a Viper and a Sage. Those are the 5 that I expect to see. Now, you can always swap things out. I've seen a Killjoy instead of a Sova. We could see a Neon, honestly, here instead of a Jet or a Reyna. I think that could be one thing that would make a lot of sense to me, especially on the B site. There's a lot of open room for her to just kind of run down and run into.
Right.
She isn't as vertical. I think it's the one thing that Jet does have an advantage on her. Sorry, my dog just walked into the room, so I have to give her attention really quickly. But beyond that, I think that those 5 agents I had named before, that's kind of just like the standard of what you expect to see.
Yeah, arguably Icebox might be my favorite map, entirely nothing to do with the map and entirely to do with the team comp itself. I love Viper, I love Sage, I love Reyna, and I think they're all really exciting agents to watch. I'm eager to see if it's going to be that Neon, like you said, and which agent those might replace. But no matter which agents we see, I know one thing. I know all these players are coming in, they're bringing their 110%, and they are here to play.
Yeah, and you know what? They're playing to win, just like Lenovo Legion. Lenovo Legion knows you play to win. Stand out from the competition. You need equipment that matches the speed of your thoughts and actions. The Legion Y25 monitor delivers wins in the toughest, most critical situations. With its extreme 1 ms response time to its insane 240 hertz refresh rate, the Legion Y25 doesn't just keep up, but it does a lot more.
You know what's even crazier than that, Jag?
Let me know.
Built for those engaged in vast multiplayer battles at the tournament level, the Legion Y25 offers a 24.5-inch FHD IPS panel with built-in NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility. The Legion Y25 monitor is available at Lenovo.com and other fine retailers.
All right, and as we load in after our fabulous ad read, it's basically what I expected, but the one thing that's replacing the Jet is not going to be who we expect. It's actually going to be the second newest agent in the game, Chamber. Bush made this work very, very well on the last on Haven, was the leader on their team and the second best in the lobby, and they are going to keep on it. And it's very interesting to me also on their side. Look at this. GSB is now on the Jet, and Duraco has swapped over to the Reyna.
That is exciting, I think, because I think Reyna fits Duraco's playstyle a lot better, and that actually puts a couple of puzzle pieces together that we were seeing with Duraco's, what I'm going to call a little sloppy playstyle, but what if there was a Leer in a lot of those plays, they would have been much, much better. So maybe Duraco is used to this Reyna and brings out the Jet for exclusive situations like Haven. Either way, I want to comment on the amount of Sheriffs we are seeing in pistol rounds. It is the most expensive sidearm, and these teams, they are just loving to bust it out when they can.
Yeah, you're just relying on your free ability at that point. And, you know, especially if you're a Reyna, that makes a lot of sense because you can still get the overheal potentially if you don't get hit. Some other agents, you probably want a little bit more utility, which is why usually you see, I would say, a Viper or a Sova kind of buy out and stay with the Classic instead, because the Recon Bolt, the Wall, all great for either getting information or cutting off sights. And that's exactly what's going to happen here.
If cutting things off, Dean just hook Noah's head clean off his shoulders. That's going to be a huge opening for UNCG, which is great because I believe this will be the first pistol round they'll win if they're able to clutch this one out. They've got the numbers, and the numbers are looking even stronger as Duraco goes down on the flank. Here comes Bush looking for an opportunity, knows someone is nearby. Zabumafu taking out Dean could be huge. We've got a lineup. Larry hanging out in the midfield. Bush goes down. GSB on the Jet already making waves, but here comes Armando from behind. It's going to be Nani finding a kill of their own. Mur takes out Nani, and just like that, the 1v1 begins. Looking for that half defuse, and here they come around the corner. Goes to the defuse again, and Mur gonna put down Armando. One sub replaces another, and JMU are gonna clutch out that first round.
I don't even know what we just witnessed. It was just a great rotation by the yeah, a lot. That's a good way to describe it. It's a great counter rotation after the plant by the defenders. They absolutely caught them off guard, and I thought Armando being in the corner, that might be enough. But Mur played that perfectly. You know, they held it a little bit longer after they got to half than I would have preferred. That kind of scared me. But they were still able to win that out, still able to win the engagement. And it was what? I think that was a 5v3 when the spike was planted, and yet somehow JMU again is able to just win this pistol round.
Yeah, that's a shame. Truly, they had two great eliminations right at the start, and I thought, oh, they've got this pistol round in the bag. First one they're going to be able to win, and just like that, JMU coming out insanely strong. Zabumafu in particular off the Astra onto the Viper, and truly making waves as they move further in. They found that great martial elim early on with the Sheriff now trying to take out Will Find. Two more. That's going to be 3 eliminations from Zabumafu, 1 from Duraco, and all of a sudden it is up to Noah to save the day. Puts down Duraco, but is taken down immediately after. JMU, not quite the flawless from Haven, but a very strong showing here at the beginning of Icebox.
What's so interesting about this map in particular, for me, looking at what I talked to the teams about earlier, was that neither said they liked this map. This was not a map that either preferred.
Right.
And I gotta look back at the bans really quickly based on what was available, but I know that I think Binds came up, Ascent came up, which will be our last map. But
if we get
I don't think Bind was available once we got to this part of the selection, which is probably why UNCG went with this. And I'm wondering now, early on again, 2 rounds in, we'll have the bonus here, should be able to at least bring one back. Gotta wonder if they're starting to regret it, though, because this has not played out the way they wanted to, especially that first round.
Yeah. That's a shame that bullet didn't connect. The Marshall doesn't have the wall bang ability a lot of other guns do, so just a single inch made a big difference there. Shot the ventilation instead of the enemy, and who knows, that could cost you at the end of the round. Keep an eye on that Reyna and see how long she lives. Not that Marshall did not find purchase to Rocco, instead the other Reyna gonna go down pretty early on here. Oh my goodness, GSB not far behind. UNCG looking to win a round. They are statistically expected to. Great wall from Chase, making a lot of room.
Welcome to my world.
And oh, golly, a Viper's Pit making an appearance from UNCG as well. I believe that's Armando on the Viper. Really trying to make sure this spike goes off without a hitch. Noah from the back takes down Bush. 4v3 in favor of UNCG still. But with that Ares online in round 3, this is still anybody's game.
Yeah, that Ares, it did get nerfed, so the rate of fire not as good as it was. And it's pretty broken for a while, honestly, but still very volatile. But Chase could get an ace here.
Chase with the ace. The race for the ace from Chase, but no, Dean says no. Dean takes away my rhymes and just gets the kill anyway in a much more boring fashion. Anywho, JMU, they are up 2-1. However, UNCG statistically are supposed to win this upcoming round as well, which probably puts us back at that 2-2 lineup, which we are certainly no stranger to.
I'll just see how GSB does on the operator. I just, it's early on and they still have a 1-round lead. I really have to see how this Reyna picks from Duraco plays out, because they look so good on the Jet, and I agree with you, like their playstyle does make sense for Reyna, but they don't have the same sort of escape utility that they would have otherwise. So if they run in, it's either they get the elim or they're done, and we have not seen GSB, play the Jet nearly as long, so it's really about hitting your shots on this operator. You only got 1 dash, you only got 1 tailwind, and once that's gone, you're basically just a sitting duck.
GSB, a bit of a sitting duck anyway. With the current standing location, even a dash will not get you out of that location proper. You will still be out in the open, at least for a second or two, which is usually enough time for characters or players of this caliber to find that elimination. We'll be jumping back to that in just a bit, but Murr holding mid strong, might be able to catch somebody out on a flank if they're lucky, but I don't think this is going to go mid. However, as I say it, Bush goes in for a hyper-aggressive push through mid. Noah trying to push in through the A site as well. I think UNCG's playing a long game here. I think they're faking a rotation, but who knows? They might charge tube and be in for an incredibly rude awakening.
Yeah, they're waiting for that long con, but like you said, they wait a little bit too long. They might be caught off guard. I mean, you do see 2 people starting to rotate towards B. The Viper's Pit was used very early by the defenders on A, so that's when Ultimate already off the table.
Left.
And UNCG, they might have a res, but res can get easily punished here, and so does Nani as they immediately get their head cut off.
Talk about patience. GSB has been sitting there the entire time we've been spectating Murr. It has not moved a muscle since that rotation of the fake, rather, came through. Now Murr with a phenomenal flank. Not the greatest trigger discipline, but it does not look like it's going to cost them much of anything. Armando, the sole survivor here, the Lear around the corner, and they fall for it. Duraco swings with the Lear and finds the elimination, giving JMU a round win that, again, they statistically are not supposed to have.
Just the way it played out, it was not how UNCG wanted it at all. They were playing so patiently, and it's basically like, you're a spider waiting for someone to come into your web, like, hey, like, don't I look delicious? Like, you want to be here. But the rotation never came to what they were looking for. JMU were very, very astute with their defense, just sat exactly where they were sitting the entire time. And then once GSB gets that first pick, your whole plan kind of falls apart. You got to rush, you got to panic. And because of that, you left mid completely open for JMU to just rotate on defense. They knew exactly where the plant was. From there, very easy round win for them.
An easy round win indeed. And like we mentioned, that op kill, just that patience coming out, made the difference that was needed. It was a really tense 5v5. Nobody wanted to be the first to make a mistake. And then all of a sudden, things were just going downhill from there. Now a unbelievably aggressive push from UNCG. They're going to try to take B site by storm. You think one of these times they'll go back to A. It's been quite a while, honestly. Out of the 5 rounds we've seen, they've gone to A once. 4 times. There's just so many people everywhere right now. It's going to be very difficult to tell who wins this until that first elimination comes to fruition.
Res online for UNCG. Empress is going to be there for Jiraka, but they are currently all the way on the flank. And they actually back out of that, so very interesting. They had the flank covered, decided to try to go back all the way around. There might not be enough time for JMU to even try to recontest this.
Yeah, there truly might not be, but maybe a little more time has been made as the double kill does come through, make it a triple. Dean is going to get the trade out. Rating damage is done, Jack. GSP picks up one. Dean finds another, but just cannot find enough. It's going to be a close one, but not close enough to worry about. They made it over halfway before the Radiant Knight appeared, which means they've got that in the bag. 1.2 seconds left on the clock. JMU, they're up 4-1. They're winning much faster than we saw on Haven.
You know, much quicker amount of time has passed to get to the 3 rounds, or not much time. I said that the wrong way. It has been a lot. Yeah, I don't know. They have done it a lot quicker. That's the headline right there. Can they keep it going? Probably, because UNCG don't have anything to buy with now. Only gonna have to get sidearms, have to save. So this should be a 4-round lead that's built up pretty early on. Dean had the Empress there too, decides not to use it. Found 2. Gotta wonder, maybe if they could have done more if they had that, but looks like they're gonna be saving it. Not for this round, but maybe the next one after.
Oh, you've got to wonder, Jag, when are they going to stop falling for that? GSP has been there with a Marshal, with an Op, with another Op, with another Marshal. Case in point, they've been there a lot. And UNCG just keeps walking into it. And I guess, to be fair, I did ask, when are they going to go A again? They finally do. Does not work well, but it may work well enough. Got a numbers advantage, at least for the time being, with guarantees in the spike plant here on the A side, and forces JMU into a retake with a player disadvantage. Move going down certainly going to hurt. Going down to a frenzy just hurts the morale. But now, 4-2 on the lineup. JMU's done some pretty crazy stuff, but I think not only do they have a weapons disadvantage in terms of an operator in close quarters, but obviously they've got the numbers disadvantage.
Res could come out. And this was a weapons advantage to start things off, but then they lost 3 battles to sidearms. None of those eliminations actually came from the weapons they picked up.
No shot GSP goes for this. Getting even half would be huge here. And they did. They bailed before half, I believe. And that's possibly going to cost them. Looks like they're going for the save. You know what they say, better save than sorry. So Murray definitely trying to get out of dodge, and looks like nobody's going to go down to the spike. Moving into the next round. Still 4v2, so JMU in a great spot.
I think it's one of the first times this entire series no one has gone down to the spike. So kudos to everyone that was still around in that round.
Good improvement.
Yeah, it's nice to see you guys are able to run away from the exploding objective. But I think the biggest thing there for JMU is, like, you got to realize, like, just because you have better weapons doesn't mean you have to be super aggro, and especially when you're on defense. Just played angles a little bit more recklessly than usual, didn't play as well around corners, and it cost them. You can easily get head shot by a sheriff, just one taps, and you don't even get a chance to pull the trigger. That time they didn't. They do keep the operator. That's the one saving grace from that round for them.
The operator... Let's see if we should call it a saving grace, depending on how this round goes, and if GSP can find purchase with it. It seems like every other round is a successful one, but... Alright, well, great way to open. Nothing to do with an op, but Bush going down. And I hate to call out a single player here, Jack, because I know any of these people would dunk on me any day of the week, but I have to note Bush's performance here versus Haven. There's a notable difference.
I think that's just because this is not a good map, honestly, for him. For at least the chamber. We'll see if Dean can bring things back. And nope, alright, that round is over before he can hand it back to you. But I mean, it gives us a chance to talk a little bit more about the chamber here. Like, your whole base of how you played is around your tethers, right? You're trying to just teleport, out as soon as you get that one hit. You can't really... Where do you teleport here? There's not nearly as many nooks and crannies that are just kind of hidden away. There's no hidey holes you can just teleport safely back to. So the only other solution is you just try to teleport in, and then you're super vulnerable once you do that, because like every ability in Valorant, it's not just instantly you're ready to go, fire away. There is a little bit of a cast time and a little bit of just like cooldown time. If you don't have a gun up, and you asked how many times they're going to peek that? Seems like every time.
Again, every stinking time, Jack. I also have to point out Bush is 0-7 right now. I thought it was bad. I didn't realize it was that bad. So this chamber, it really may be a thorn in the side of UNCG, and I get it, because I know that I play Raze on map I'm not supposed to. It's just a comfort thing, right? Unfortunately, that comfort can go not very far. Wow, another one of those 2-sentence rounds. That's the third one we've had. Just blink and you miss it, blink and it's over.
What else can you say about it? It's just over so quickly. Not much else, but yeah, I kind of want to touch about what you talked about, as it looks like UNCGs will take a timeout. I think this is a really smart call, considering that already it looks like JMU is guaranteed at least a tie at halftime if they lose 4 rounds in a row, and that would be pretty bad for them. Unlikely, but could happen. I agree with you that sometimes you feel good on an agent. You know, you're having a hot streak. You feel like you're on top of the world, like you could make it work anywhere. But there are just some maps that some agents do not work, and there's a reason that I've never seen a chamber here before. It's not even necessarily that chamber isn't the right choice or is a bad choice. It's that there are just better choices that you could go with instead.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better. It's not that Chamber can't work here. It's just anything Chamber's going to do here, somebody is going to offer you a better, possibly safer option to do. Jet is a great example. And, you know, the team doesn't even have a Jet, right? It looks like they've tried to sub Chamber in her spot. It's unfortunately not going to work the way that they want it to. And I'm glad we got to look at the scoreboard for a majority of this, just to kind of see where things are falling out. It looks like they're pretty close across the board with JMU, you know, each slot having a couple more eliminations as they are 6-2 in the lead, right? So I'm really excited to see how far JMU takes this. Will UMC find more success? Not UNCG, too many letters, guys, I'm sorry. Will UNCG find more success on the defense? Maybe their comp is built for that defensive hold rather than that offensive push.
Beginning of the season, we all, you know, we're catching up. We're getting the rust off. I know I have definitely had a few mispronunciations tonight. One thing I want to note as that Vipers pick comes down is Murr has had 1 death this entire time.
7-1.
And, you know, you talk about Sages and being more of a support role, doing the damage, staying alive, getting the heals out. That's a huge part of why this lead has come into fruition for them.
Was it Bumufu had the intel, had they pulled the trigger, could have at least found some damage, but, you know, definitely safer to not give your location away if you don't have to. Dean, huge elimination onto Duraco, all of a sudden terrifying, shaking JMU to their very cores. Not only they had a numbers disadvantage, but they lose one of their power players. Patience is the name of the game. Whoever overextends will trade their life for their team's successes. So Bumufu's ult just holding everybody in a chokehold.
How long will it last? It can last for quite a while if you don't take out that Viper, and I think that's just made them realize, like, hey, let's just get out of here.
Oh.
That allows the res to finally come through, so that elimination is null and void.
30 seconds
and it's
left.
5v5, but I think if you're GSP resing, like, hey, this is not good for me, like, this is probably a rotation that's coming my way, only 25 seconds left, something's got to give.
GSB's got to be terrified right now. I know I would be, all 5 still alive. Oh, and you missed it! No! Oh, I pulled Bladestorm right here, TBH. But I would have also died right there. It's probably a good call they didn't. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Dean going to get traded out there, but Noah is a wrap. Falls pretty aggressively, 4v3, and oh my goodness, her goes to get aggressive, but secures Bush, that first elimination of the map. This is looking really good for UNCG. That timeout may have done them well.
Interesting, picking up the operator while using the Empress. There are 2 people in the red right now for UNCG, but instead you're going to try to go in with this ultimate? Well, where's the Viper even rotating from?
Oh, golly. All right, well, you baited out the Hunter's Fury, but I think right now you're a little more worried about the block than you are the defuse. Bumufu just going to get caught out in Armando. Playing the lineup, Larry. We've got Duraco going for a couple of eliminations, but I think this is going to be a save round. Yeah, that definitely makes the most sense, trying to save that operator and handing another round over to UNCG, which you're not particularly worried about, as you've still got double the amount of rounds they do.
Yeah, you're going to be still in a good place. You get out the Hunter's Fury for really nothing. I guess the Empress was traded, but it is an ultimate that not only is guaranteed to do less, because Empress really just empowers you to do what you already do, it's also a much cheaper ultimate to try to get, so you'll be happy about that. Also get at least 2 limbs on the board. But you gotta wonder where that kind of fell apart for them, and I think it's the fact that they just didn't rotate quick enough. They knew that there was no one left at A anymore, or at least they probably had a good idea of it. They had mid, you saw they tried to control mid, but it was way too late. The rotation had already been made. So generally I've been praising JMU for being very good at just holding, but you gotta also remember how much time is on the clock, and sometimes you're just holding a little bit too long because of that you're actually folding them too.
Right. It's important to remember that Chamber's tour de force only has 5 bullets, so every time we hear that gun go off and not a single body falls, it's going to be even harder to clutch the round with that help. A phenomenal flank from, I believe, Murr for the time being back in the spawn there. Ian pushing into the A site, and that's not Murr, I'm sorry, that's Duraco. But either way, a great flanking nonetheless. Might be able to find 1, perhaps even 2 eliminations if you play your cards right. All about that trigger discipline here, and who's going to find the elimination first. Chase going for that plant. I gotta say, a very aggressive one at that. You know there's folks on this site. You just don't know where. Nani goes down. Bush is going to be able to get a wallbang kill onto the Booba Food. Rocco picks up the two that we needed them for that success. Armando playing that lineup. Larry if they can. Bush takes out one more. Hits out the Classic, but the Classic cannot make an appearance in time. It is up to Armando to save the day, but Noah is not going to let that happen. JMU, they're going to win their 7th round.
The way they played that on the side of JMU was so smart. They realized, like, hey, this Viper stays alive. Just throws in snake bites for days. We cannot get on this spike because that will just completely decay us, completely eat at our health bars. So we got to just push out aggressively. There's 2 of us. We lose 1. We still win the round. So very well played. Really great understanding of, you know, the agents in that situation, what they can do. Great teamwork. Great team play. Because of that, that lead is guaranteed at halftime. They could keep racking it up just a little bit more. 2 rounds to go. Could be 9-3, which I know is a cursed number in Valorant, but it's still a very nice lead, especially being on the defender side. I wouldn't say this is an attacker-sided map, but I feel like, you know, this is a good map to be an attacker, especially if you have the lead.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I agree. I don't know if I'd say it's really either, to be honest. I feel like this map is relatively balanced in terms of offense and defense success rates. You know, of course, it's going to change across ranks and whatnot, but I feel like this is one of those maps I don't look at and think, oh, defense, or oh, offense totally wins that. However, JMU, they're starting to convince me. I hate to see the 9-3 curse, but I am a believer. Oh, well, we're getting closer to seeing it, Jag. Let me tell you what, it's going to be a great start for JMU. Already a 5v1. Not quite a flawless, but I'm not sure what Nani plans to do with a Marshall. Not much at all. It's going to be an 8th round win. Honestly, an 8-4, not the end of the world. A 9-3 hurts a lot more, in my opinion.
It does, because if you lose the pistol round, it doesn't make you force buy, but force buying is on the table, which is not. It's really risky. It's really make or break. You lose that, you have nothing left to work on, because you'd be down 11-3 at that point. It's a lot to consider. You win this round also. It's not only just another round on the board, it's also a little bit of momentum, a little bit of maybe starting to turn the tide before that halftime swap, which is always big. We always talk about Valorant. It is such a momentum-based game. Once you get, you know, just even a little whiff of it, you just run it all the way to the end. And you and I, we've seen games that started out 1-11 end up 13-11.
It has happened. He's absolutely not lying. We have seen it. I believe here at CENC, we watched a team go from 13-11, or ECAC. I'm sorry, it's too many letters. Anyway, here we saw a team go from 11-1 to 13-11. It's happened. I believe it was on Bind. I'm sure we've seen it more than once. And the moral of the story, kids, is just because the scoreline is not in your favor does not mean the game is over. It is not over until it's over. Absolutely. UNCG is playing a little bit slow, honestly. Maybe a little too slow for my liking, but I get it because if they overextend, it's going to cost them the round. I feel their most successful rounds, even back on Haven, were the ones where they just held pedal to the metal. They held W in full engaged. Rocco able to find a flank kill onto Armando and get healed up for the efforts. Makes it all the harder for UNCG, who I don't believe is even aware they're being flanked.
And I feel like this is why B would be the better site for them to try to attack with playstyle. This is much more close quarters. Oh my goodness, Noah just beat the drone and a person at the same time.
Did Noah just wallbang through the drone? Is that what that kill feed said? Amazing.
I think it might have.
That's definitely not something you see often. Dean with the Spectre trying to really make waves for the team. Only 10 seconds remain. Got to find 2 eliminations to win the round. I just don't realistically see that happening. The smartest thing JMU could do here is not engage, and it looks like they're doing just that. They play it slow, D doesn't check his corners, and gets folded like a lawn chair. JMU, they find their 9th round win, but this is the 9-3 curse. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen right here, right now. JMU, they are 4 rounds away from dominating their ECAC debut.
And this would be also a very impressive statement, because that first map was so close.
Right.
This not only was not your pick, this is not a map that you said you really preferred, and to win the second map in a much more one-sided affair versus the first one, which was a much more back and forth one, really kind of like pars you for the course of, hey, like, you know, that last one was a warm-up. We are here to play now. This is why we are a part of the ECAC, our first ever official collegiate league as a Valorant team. Like, what an opening game that would be.
Revealing area.
Oh, If Bush had a sniper there, woo! Could have been over for the entirety of the team, but unfortunately that pistol does not have the same collat ability. Duraco is going to fall, so honestly a very good trade, only a little bit of damage for an entire life. Armando with a phenomenal flank. That may be the opening UNCG needed because JMU they're getting closer and closer to losing it all. Ani is going to find a kill. GSB with the flank onto Armando. Slowly but surely, this is flipping in favor of UNCG. We have seen JMU come back from worse.
Also, the way they're playing this is actually really smart. They're split. So there's no one to collapse on. Ooh, Spumafu. Oh,
you had to see frames to know somebody was there. Pixels.
Couldn't hit the headshot. So now it's down to GSB. Only has half health. Doesn't have much left. And could that be it? Could that be UNCG turning things around? This could be the beginning of that 9-3 curse really kicking into full gear. But for now, it's just a great way to stop an early attack.
Also important to note that, what am I saying? Also important to note that that's the first pistol round UNCG has found in a victory. Out of the 4 we've seen, they have won 1 of them. So there's definitely something to be said about that. Like you said, are the tides finally turning? Have the tables been turned? However you'd like to say it, is this UNCG's time to shine? They have to win 9 rounds in the time that JMU has to win 4. It's going to be tough, but it is certainly not impossible.
And they'll have a good advantage here as they will have better weaponry, but Armando fires that shot, doesn't land it, he's getting collapsed on, barely gets out. That could have been a huge opening kill. They're so weak.
Insanely courageous of Armando to stick around so long. I would have been out of there in seconds. Oh, Bush has great taste in gun skins. The pink, I don't remember what that's called though. Something X, I don't remember. Either way, I like it. This is one of those slow burn moments where whoever overextends first, whichever team loses an agent first, it very well may cost them the round. And that's insanely devastating for both sides because it could give UNCG that next step in the snowball of momentum they are building, or it could slam that snowball before it can even roll.
Spike planted.
Whoa! Lines up perfectly. The spike is planted, but they still get that opening elim. Okay.
That was a choice. Was that a bait? That had to be a bait. That had to pull focus because that could not have been a player consciously making that decision.
Good done.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think it was like, hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the team.
Yeah.
If it's your Sage, I mean, think about it this way. You're getting one step closer to getting that resurrection up.
That's
because
true.
You get an alt orb upon your elimination per round. So it's like, hey, I'm going to pull them in. I guess the one thing to worry about is like you give them a free Spectre. Maybe they're able to actually win that one out. But it was a good trade immediately after they took over the point. Didn't really allow JMU to do anything after that. And Duraco was just so far away. I mean, what could you really do in that scenario? So just a good defense in a round that you should have won anyway. Just executed it well. This is the round you got to win too, though. You don't want to give them that double-digit lead. You don't want to give them a bonus round.
Oh! Phenomenal way to start that round. Holy cow, Duraco immediately falling. However, they can't grab the weapon. If you were able to get that Vandal, or I don't know if it was a Phantom or a Vandal, but they were able to get that rifle. That could really go a long way. Armando playing a lot of one-ways, a lot of smokes, creating general chaos, as is the name of the game for Viper players. But it also gives UNCG, excuse me, gives JMU a lot of room to move forward, a lot of room to engage uncontested, because if they can't see, you know, if I can't see you, you can't see me.
It's true. That is very true. And they did see Bush.
Oh.
Bush still gets Elim, so the Headhunter is doing exactly that. It's taken heads, it's taken names. Bush does get taken out. And I think Bush is starting to come online just a little bit. They have been able to, you know, it's definitely not the full comeback. It's not the same performance we've seen earlier on, but it's those signs of life, and that's exactly what they need right now.
It's better than the 0 elims we saw earlier, right? Bush even getting 2 kills in a single round is a huge step up from what we were seeing there. It reminds much more of the Haven we saw. Fufu with an insane, just mega play. 4 elims across the board, not quite an ace, but impressive nonetheless. And securing that double-digit round for JMU. UNCG, they're down by 5 rounds. It's absolutely possible to come back, especially because they're supposed to lose that round. So now moving into this, everybody should be able to full buy or pretty darn close. This round really decides where momentum truly lays.
It does, because JMU should be able to at least partial bye next round if they really wanted to. Their economy is in a better situation right now than UNGC, or UNCG, excuse me. And because of that, if UNCG loses this, they have nothing to go on. So it's going to be round 12. It's going to be 12 to 5 by the time they can finally bye against. This round has serious implications for how the rest of this game could go. It could end up just being a snowball effect where they can't win anything out from here, or they're able to put up a fight here, make a big stand, and then make it a little bit closer.
Kitchen entirely for free. Okay, well, essentially for free. Looks like it's going to turn into a bit of a fake. They destroyed the Cypher gadget, not Cypher, Chamber gadget, and they're going to fake the intel through Kitchen. I've got a comment. Just everybody is so split right now. It looks like somehow JMU has all decided to group back up and rotate around to the A site, which is kind of wide open. There's a couple folks over there, but they've definitely got the numbers advantage.
It's really just dealing with the one person who is on the high ground right now. You do that, you know there's going to be someone in the corner. Like that Sage, oh, that is not what to do with your chase.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. There's the Viper's pit. I was kind of wondering what was going on there. My spectator thing was a little goofy. But the Viper's pit certainly making an appearance, which guarantees the spike plant. Can JMU capitalize? They've got the numbers, they've got the ultimate, and they've got the time. As the spike is planted, the time is officially in their favor. See what they can do with it. Dean flanking up and around, able to find Duraco early, ties up the numbers. It's going to be all about that next elimination. Really flip this on its head. Really need a Viper. Really to open the site right back open. And Armando does go down. Follow goes behind. Nani finds one. Bush finds another. It is a 2v1 in favor of UNCG. But Spike is absolutely planted for Noah. Is he going to be able to find the shock dart kill that he wants? A little bit of damage there.
Enemy remaining.
Unfortunately, no progress. Finds Bush. Only needs one more, but the clock is ticking. Has to rush in and find that opportunity. Goes off the high ground and finds the elimination. Noah going to secure the 11th round win for JMU Valorant.
And that's exactly the agent you want alive at the end of that. You know exactly where the spike is. You know exactly the lineups for your shock darts. There's a great play by the last member alive for UNCG. Just right out of the range, right out of the corner. But Noah is still able to run up, still able to get that clutch moment. And things, you know, this is what I'm talking about. Even though JMU loses quite a bit of members, they're still able to get a pretty nice full buy, except for it looks like GSB, who I believe is pretty close. Yeah, pretty close to that Blaze Storm, so they might try to go in just to get that ult orb for them. It's looking pretty bleak for UNCG. They have to have an amazing thrift here, which we know they can have. They've done it before. They lose this, they're going to be almost at the end of the series.
Very close to the end of the series, but the body block there is insanely disastrous. Both Dean and Chase cannot make it out. Armando gonna be third and eliminated. Jag, you just talked about how this could very well be the penultimate round of the game. JMU there trying to ensure that it is Rocket League. Nani Bush finds an elimination, already using the tour de force. I mean, dude's gonna drop an ace, keep the stream alive, and he doesn't even get to fire the gun one more time. Her finds that chamber, and JMU are one round away from making the most impressive debut I have seen in a long time.
JMU, whenever they use an ultimate, it seems as if UNCG, they absolutely try to counter it. There, you know, the Empress is popped. What do? Tour de Force is in a way to try to stop it. And that is, you know, one thing that you're not going to have going into this next round where, again, JMU wins this, they win the map, they win the series, it is over, they get to go home with the victory. UNCG, they've had to win 7 rounds, not to win, just to even get to extra rounds here, go to overtime. So that's one less thing they have available. And at this point, it's not even looking ahead, it's just we have to win. You got to focus on every round as they come. You can't look too far into the future.
Right. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it probable? Realistically, probably not. They're able to win this round. You can have a little more faith in their performance, but losing to that early in one trade, not even able to secure GSB. I hate to say it, Jag. 2 ultimates at the ready. Maybe pop Eagle, create some space. Dean is going to be able to find that ult utilization. GSB. What an amazing flick onto Armando. It is up to Dean to essentially drop an ace and save the day, secure the following round, and just to find out who's currently up. That's the all-team road. JMU with an incredible, absolutely phenomenal ECAC debut.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want in your first matchup here, your first ever league match here at ECAC. And again, you gave us a good show. So that first map, there's a lot you can learn from it. It wasn't the, you know, kind of one-sided dominant performance you'd like to see if you're a player on that team, but you still were able to clutch out. We're still able to have the big plays. And I think you got better over time. You adapted as you went through that map. This one, you bring what you learned and you absolutely just roll through it. Still 8-round differential. Not the biggest, differential we've ever seen, but it is a lot. It's a lot bigger than the one previously that we saw. It's double what we saw on the last map, and it just shows that hey, like we grew not only like over like the last semester going into this one, we've grown over this series, and now we've established ourselves as one of the leading teams early on.
Yeah, adaptation is 100% the name of the game. It's all about adaptation. It's all about momentum, and it's all about that team play. And hopefully we're going to try to interview somebody from the winning team, JMU, in just a couple of minutes. We have to get confirmation if anybody's joining us. So I'm going to throw it to a super short break. So we will either be back with an interview or with the closer. So don't go anywhere. We've got something coming at you in just a few.
Cloud 2 Wireless.
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Jeez, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 Wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Jeez, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to have that interview with D. Duraco, who we have definitely been saying that the whole time. Nobody snitch. Anyway, we are here with D. Duraco. We're going to be asking him just a few questions about what, as I mentioned, was a phenomenal debut, by the way. So I want to ask, this is your first, if I'm not mistaken, your first kind of league experience as a team, right? So coming into this, you guys give an incredible showing. What do you think this means for you moving forward in the rest of the season?
I'm really excited. I think all the guys played really well. I think between our Sovos, our dart play, and our entry power, I think we're looking to make a pretty good run at this league.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I want to ask a question about you specifically, because if you go back and watch the VOD, we were very torn on your duelist play style and how it was very unique in the agent you were on. So are you traditionally more of a Jet or more of a Reyna? Because we really could not tell.
Well, honestly, I started out way back when as a Sage, so you kind of see that playing into my Jet. I like to stay close. I like to stay up in front of the action, and I don't necessarily need to dash first. I just need to make sure I get the picks that I need so my team can win.
Right, absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to ask a little bit. So you guys had a pretty close, I would say, first map. You still able to pull away with that victory 13-9. But then on the second map, that was 13-4-5, something like that. So I want to ask, what was the difference between those two maps? Was it just the map that you were on, the composition you had, or is it like something you kind of learned over the series that gave you the edge as you kept going?
I think we kind of got our wits about us. We kind of were able to dissect our opponents a little better. We kind of realized that they weren't watching flanks as well as they should have, and we were able to get a lot more map control. And also the rotates, we were able to kind of read them a lot more on Icebox. And I think Haven's actually our most practiced map, but I think with Box it was a little more, we were able to kind of read it, let the flow of the game naturally occur rather than trying to force the play.
And my last question, before I hand it off back to Septilins, you got to see GSB, your teammate, also play the Jet. What do you think is kind of the biggest difference between your style versus their style? And if you could kind of take one thing from them and adapt it into your own game, what would it be?
GSB, he's just an incredible opper. He and even with his rifle, as you saw on the first map with Sky, he's just able to do whatever he possibly can. Whereas me, I go by the term crutch. I like my arm. I like to expose it and I like to abuse it a little bit. But I think if I can really take anything from his gameplay, it's definitely his rifling abilities. He's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on the whole crutch thing. Yeah, that makes two of us. So definitely, you are in good company for sure. So one more question, a little bit out of the game, a little bit more to you as a player. Is there just anybody you want to give a general thank you or a shout out to here in the interview?
I would like to thank X Labs. They're actually the benefactors for our entire esports program at James Madison. Without them, we really couldn't do anything. They've made one of my dreams come true, honestly, and hoping that I can take this step further into the professional field. So I'd just like to say a huge thanks to them.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And I mean, hey, you guys put on one hell of a show today, like I said, so we will definitely be keeping an eye on you in the future. But thank you so much for joining us for the interview, and a huge congrats on your win today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you. And with that, folks, it is unfortunately time to call it a night. I thought it was going to go a little bit longer, especially after how close Haven was, but we're still calling it a night here around 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Jag and I are absolutely stoked to be back. Obviously, if that wasn't shown in our childish excitement during the evening, we love Valorant and we love being in the ECAC. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. A huge shout out to Chad Lantis and Professor Layton in the back line, as well as K-Tad for everything he's doing. Guys, crazy. He's incredibly talented at putting all this together. Thank you to all the teams that made an appearance today, and thank you all so much for watching. Check your posture, drink some water, and don't forget to love each other. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great night.
And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got got a sore, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a sore, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.